What's going on, New York Yankee fans? Welcome back to another video. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification button so you get notified when the live stream pops, video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Appreciate everyone who showed up for the Boys in Big Apple podcast last night, episode 20. It was a lot of fun. We discussed a lot of topics as well. Luka had his own NBA film breakdown of some of the picks that came out of the draft. And we're going to be making a bet, actually, based on who wins the Giants and Jets preseason game. Also, as well, we will be returning to Mondays very shortly in about 2-ish weeks. So Friday's not for long, but we'll see in the schedule if we can either make that a long-term thing, whatever. But I'm gonna grade the trade deadline today for the New York Yankees. I was gonna do a video yesterday, but I'm like, this ain't gonna get out before the Yankee game, and it would be inaccurate. Of course, it kind of would be, because Anthony Rizzo hit his first home run as a Yankee when I was with Luke in my room. And, when I was with Luke in my room, shortly before we got Chinese food, I said, look, Anthony Rizzo, I'm calling it right now, is going to hit his first home run as a Yankee tonight. And he said, you're serious? I said, yeah. And then look what happened, I'll post the reaction probably at the end of the video. But it was a fun time. It was a fun time, even though we were ranting about the Yankees in certain aspects. We were happy for them that they won. So let's grade the trade deadline. It's going to be a bit of a longer video, probably than I usually put out. But we're going to grade each trade. We're going to talk about the points at the end and the takeaways, and then we'll actually, at the end, discuss it and grade the final trade. The final trade, meaning the trade deadline, the moves for the Yankees. So the first move they made was on July 26th. They traded infielders Diego Castillo and Hoyjin Park for Clay Holmes from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So this season, Diego Castillo, 12 home runs, 35 RBIs, 275 batting average, total of 64 hits, 45 runs, 233 at-bats with 8 stolen bases. Hoyjin Park, one of the better hitters in the minor leagues right now. Total of 11 home runs, 32 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, 292 batting average, 62 hits, 49 runs, 212 at-bats. Clay Holmes, he did pitch in one appearance for the Yankees already. That was the Rays game. 3-2 record, 4.81 ERA. 45 games, 45 strikeouts, 43 innings pitched in his last 7. A 1-0 record with a 10.13 ERA, 6 games, 5.1 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, 1.88 whip. Last 15 games, 1 win, 5.84 ERA, 12.1 innings pitched, 7 hits, 8 earned runs, 12 walks, 15 strikeouts, 1.54 whip. Last 30 games, 2-2 record, 5.19 ERA, 26 innings pitched, 21 hits, 15 earned runs given up, 20 walks, 29 Ks, and a 1.58 ERA. And also to note, his opposing batting average on the season is a 216. So I'll have a bigger takeaway at the end of the video. But this trade, I wasn't so happy about, because I looked at Holmes' stats, and there was another stat that came out that he walked 86 something, or had walks in 86 of the last 114 innings or something like that, which obviously would show up in the walks to 9, the K to 9 kind of stat. I didn't do that research. Somebody else did. Shout outs to them. But I just wasn't particularly happy with this trade. I feel like the Yankees did let Hoyjin Park down a little bit. He was a good hitter in the minor leagues, and he could have gotten his chance. But, I guess they didn't see him as a fit for the New York Yankees. And the analytic bugs in the front office didn't like him, which is true, by the way. Bob Klapisch proved that right. But he's in Pittsburgh now. Diego Castillo is in Pittsburgh now. We'll see what happens. One's in AAA, one's in AA. Clay Holmes is for the Yankees right now. And, they said, well, Hoyjin Park is not really part of our long-term solution. Well, Clay Holmes really isn't either. What's the thing about him that's going to make us go to the playoffs, the division series, the championship series, the World Series? What is it about him? Because he's coming from an under 500 team with some shaky stats, 28 years old. So that's kind of the shaky part to me. But I'm going to be more calmer about the grading. So I'm going to give it around a B minus, C plus, right about there. I get it. You have to give up some prospects, but I really thought that you could have given up someone else than Hoy-Jin Park. But then again, they didn't consider him as a long-term solution. And, really, Clay Holmes is the solution that's going to fix our bullpen or partly fix our bullpen as we go into the playoffs. If we do, that just puzzles me a little bit, but C plus, B minus. Next trade. This happened on the 28th. It was like 12 in the morning. The New York Yankees traded Luis Cessa and Justin Wilson for a player to be named later to the Cincinnati Reds. First reaction, I did not like one half of this trade. That was giving up Cessa. And I have a remark at the end that I'll probably relate to. But for right now, obviously, we'll discuss this stuff. So Cessa on the year, 3-1, 2.75 ERA, 30 games, 39.1 innings pitched, 32 Ks, 1.22 WHIP. Also, he has an opposing batting average of 214. So, shouts to him. He was one of our best bullpen arms. This year, compared to last year and the other years, people crapped on him. I did. I'm going to straight up admit that. But I just don't think it was a good move to trade Cessa. I don't, because, they can say, oh, it's a salary dump. He was not part of our long-term solution, but Clay Holmes is. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Clay Holmes is in your postseason plan, and I understand Cessa was a little shaky, I think, last year or the year before in the playoffs with like a 4.50 ERA. His total ERA in the playoffs is a 2.25, but don't be phased. Obviously stats can be skewed, but the point is that this guy's been solid for you all year, and you're not going to appreciate that, and you're going to trade him for Clay Holmes, who's been shaky with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Anyway, Justin Wilson, glad we got rid of him. 1-1 record, 7.11 ERA, total 22 games, 19 innings pitched, 16 strikeouts, 1.47 WHIP, and an opposing batting average of 240. Obviously not good on the year. We can all agree upon that. The Yankees are not going to get something big in return. It's probably going to be like a prospect that's like 30th or 29th on the Reds list. But that was meant to be a salary dump. I don't know why they did it to Cessa, why they couldn't do it to Britton or Chad Green. I have no idea. Both have been either injured or just terrible this season or in the last couple of weeks, unfortunately. But they traded Cessa. You can't undo the trade. So, shout out to Cessa. You were really something good this year. But in terms of Justin Wilson, good move by the Yankees in that aspect. So I'll give it about B plus, B minus a little bit, because you did get rid of one of your best bullpen arms. Going to say that right now. But obviously, once again, not part of the postseason plan. So let's move on to the biggest trade of them all. The Yankees acquired Joey Gallo and Julie Rodriguez for Glenn Otto, Trevor Stauver, Ezekiel Duran, and Josh Smith. Obviously, getting Gallo and Rodriguez from the Texas Rangers. Gallo on the year, obviously including some of yesterday's stuff. 25 home runs, 55 RBIs, 6 stolen bases, 220 batting average, 69 hits, 57 runs, 314 at-bats on the year. Last 7 games, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 105 batting average, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits, 4 runs, 19 at-bats. Last 15 games, 41 at-bats, 6 hits, 7 runs, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 8 walks, 18 strikeouts, 146 batting average. In the last 30 games, 90 at-bats, a total of 22 runs, 22 hits, 14 home runs, 24 RBIs, 21 walks, 39 strikeouts, and a 244 batting average. And then, once again, I mentioned on the year what his batting average is. And then let's go to Joely Rodriguez, who doesn't really have appealing stats, going to be honest there. 1-3 record, 5.93 ERA, 31 games, 1 save, 27.1 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, 1.61 WHIP. In his last 7 games, a 7.20 ERA, 5 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 runs, 6 walks, and 6 strikeouts with a 3 WHIP. Last 15 games, 0-1, 5.54 ERA, 13 innings pitched, 1 save, 14 hits, 8 earned runs, 9 walks, 14 strikeouts. Then you look at the last 30 games, 1-2, 5.40 ERA. Then you look at the last 30 games, 1-2 record, 5.40 ERA. 30 games, 1 save, 26.2 innings pitched, 29 hits, 16 earned runs, 12 walks, and 29 strikeouts with 1.54 ERA. His opposing batting average on the season is a .288. So before I go to the minor leaguers, Joey Gallo, obviously you guys know my thoughts on. I'm not too big of a fan of him. Not him personally, but the way he plays, the stats, just, the home run or nothing. And I like the fact he gets on base. I like the fact he walks. But I just want the consistency in the lineup. We can't be having these days, especially at this point in the season where it's, we hit 12 home runs one day and then we don't do anything the next. I just want consistency. I don't want, this, that, and the other thing. Because we are not in a position to be inconsistent. We're not. Because, the pitching, they'll put up they'll give up 3 runs a game. And the pitching, as in the starters, have been decent. They've been good over the last couple of games, except for Garrett Cole. But the bullpen, obviously, you have to worry about them. But the offense, they have to get rolling. And I'm expecting a sweep in Miami. They are a last-place team. We don't need to be giving up one game to them when we could be, sweeping them and then go into the next series and say, hey, let's take 2 out of 3. We are not in a position for inconsistency. But the Joely Rodriguez thing, I'm not necessarily, once again, a fan of him. They could have gotten John King. But Joely Rodriguez, 5.43 ERA, 1-3. Not a lot of people are talking about this, guys. And I'm going to be honest with you. They love the Gallo trade. They're just looking at Gallo and goo gaga. You know what? Listen, I'm going to hype Gallo when he hits his first Yankee home run, when he gets his first base hit, because he still hasn't done that yet. I'm going to hype him and Anthony Rizzo, as I did last night on the Boys in Big Apple podcast. But the thing is, we have to be honest. It's not hating. We have to be honest. Joely Rodriguez is lower quality than Luis Cessa. Clay Holmes is lower quality than Luis Cessa. Andrew Heaney, lower quality than Luis Cessa. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Glenn Otto, 7-3 record, 3.33 ERA, 13 games, 12 of them started, 75.2 innings pitched, 115 Ks, and his opposing batting average on the season is a .216. He played for both Somerset and Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Well, shouts to him. He was having a decent season in the minor leagues, I must say. Hopefully, there he makes it to the major leagues quick. Next guy is Trevor Hauver, the Yankees' third-round pick from 2020, the Matt Parrott pick. Total of 9 home runs, 49 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 288 batting average, 66 hits, 48 runs, and 229 at-bats. Obviously, this is his first season because last year there was no minor leagues. You move on to Ezekiel Duran, 12 home runs, 50 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, 292 batting average, 77 hits, 43 runs, 264 at-bats. And he's played with 2 teams as well as this year. He's playing with the Hickory Crawdads and the Renegades. So obviously, it's still Double-A, but once again, got traded. And the shortstop they acquired in the trade, well, one of the infielders, I should say, is Joshua Smith. He's hitting 9 home runs, 24 RBIs on the year, a .324 batting average, 24 walks, 33 strikeouts, 17 stolen bases, a total of 47 hits, and a total of 145 at-bats with 45 runs. So, once again, just a view on the trade. The Yankees gave up a lot. The Yankees gave up, in my opinion, once again, it was for Joey Gallo. And I guess at that point, the Yankees didn't care who they got on the side. If Texas wanted to, salary dump somebody, I guess that was Joely Rodriguez. I'm more excited about the Gallo part, honestly. I'm more positive about the Gallo part than, I guess most people are, or some people, I should say. But the Joely Rodriguez thing, man, the Yankees, they better watch. And I'm not being negative, I'm being real. You gave up Cessa, that's great and all. But you got to have pitchers that come in and actually do things. People are saying, oh, well, it's hard to find a relief pitcher. It's hard to find a good pitcher. Well, we're not talking about starting pitchers. We're talking about bullpen pitchers. And also to note as well, those same people will rant on Brian Cashman a couple of months from now if this doesn't work out. So I'm just leaving that out there. But in terms of the trade, I'll give it B+, around there. The Yankees did give up a lot, and it will blow up in their face if, they continue to go on the streak they are, or before, I should say, and don't make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, this is a complete bust. I'm not saying, next year, 2022. No, this is for this year. Next year is a different story. They can do whatever the hell they want. This is for this year. They have to make the playoffs. They have to make some sort of a deep run because you now have the pieces for it. So B-, B+, around that. Second to last trade, the Yankees traded outfielder Kevin Alcantara and right-handed pitcher Alexander Vizcaino to the Chicago Cubs for first baseman Anthony Rizzo, who hit his first home run last night for the New York Yankees. 15 home runs, 41 RBIs on the year, 4 stolen bases, 252 batting average, 82 hits, 43 runs, and a total of 326 at-bats. In the last 7 games, 22 at-bats, 6 runs, 8 hits, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a 364 batting average, plus for Anthony Rizzo. Plus, he hit against the shift yesterday. A lot of players can't do that, I should say, on the Yankees, because, that doesn't exist. Also to note, last 15 games, 52 at-bats, 9 runs, 13 hits, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, 250 average. Last 30 games, 100 at-bats, 12 runs, 23 hits, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, total of 9 walks, 26 strikeouts, 230 batting average. So he played second base apparently one time this year, which is pretty interesting as well. In terms of what Chicago got in the trade, Kevin Alcantara on the year, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 360 average, 1 stolen base, 9 hits, 5 runs, 25 at-bats. I think they just started the Arizona something league Cubs. I mean, they changed it from the GCL to now the ACL. So, and then they also got Alexander Vizcaino, 0-1, 7.50 ERA, 6 games. 3 of them started, 6 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, and a 2.67 ERA with an opposing average of 273. So I think the Chicago Cubs got a steal in this trade, my personal opinion. I think they got a steal in this trade. Alcantara didn't play that much, and Vizcaino, who was regarded as one of the top prospects for the New York Yankees, isn't doing well this year. And they get Rizzo, who's a free agent, I believe, next year. And the Cubs take his salary. That's great. He hit a home run last night for the Yankees and even was, 2 for 4? So, good for Rizzo. He actually walked, so it was like 2 for 3. But, I really like the trade. This is the best trade that the Yankees have made at the deadline this year. Probably, just speaking on MLB as a whole, one of the more action-packed deadlines. But speaking on this trade, this is my favorite trade. I'll give it an A+. They did give up prospects, but once again, both of them really haven't shown much this year. Anthony Rizzo, obviously, he's a quality hitter, and he doesn't strike out that much. I think he only has 59 strikeouts in 93 games this year. So that's not too bad. Not Joe Gallo, where it's over 120 right now. That's the one bugaboo with him. So the final trade of the Yankees trade deadline moves. The Yankees acquired Andrew Heaney for Elvis Peguero and Jansen Junk. Now let's take a look at Elvis Peguero and Jansen Junk. Peguero 4-1 on the season, 2.23 ERA, 21 games, 2 saves, 57 strikeouts, .99 WHIP, and a 44.1 innings pitched with an opposing batting average of 174. So he was doing really good with the Yankees. Double-A affiliate being the Somerset Patriots. If he was there, he might have been a lower level. Yeah, he was actually with Hudson Valley. But for Jansen Junk, who's with the Patriots for most of the year, 4-1, 1.78 ERA, 12 games started, 14 games appeared in, 1 save, 65.2 innings pitched, 68 strikeouts, and a .96 WHIP, with an opposing batting average of 185. So the Yankees did give up some good prospects in this trade. Now, they may not be, Kevin Alcantara and Alexander Vizcaino in terms of height, ninth ranked prospect, 12th ranked prospect. They might not have given that, but these two guys, once again, are prospects, and they've been doing well this year. So I think they, gave up more than they did, honestly, depending on what the future plays out to be. They gave up a little bit more than the Rizzo trade. But Andrew Heaney on the season, 6-7, 5.27 ERA, 18 games started, 94 innings pitched, 113 strikeouts, 1.31 WHIP. Last 7 games, 2-4, 6.69 ERA, 36.1 innings pitched, 40 hits, 27 runs, 12 walks, 44 Ks, 1.43 ERA. Last 15 games, 5-6, 5.20 ERA, 79.2 innings pitched, 82 hits, total of 46 runs, 24 walks, and 94 strikeouts with a 1.33 WHIP and a 252 opposing batting average. So in this trade, I'm not necessarily a fan of. It's probably, I'm going to be honest with y'all here, my least favorite trade. Because, yeah, you gave up 2 prospects, and sure, maybe they were not the future and you weren't counting on developing them or trading them later on. But Andrew Heaney, he's a starter. I don't know what his role is with the Yankees. I don't know if he's going to be a starter. I don't know if he's going to be that guy that gives you length in the bullpen. But I wouldn't have as much of a problem with this trade if the Yankees didn't acquire Joely Rodriguez and Clay Holmes. I'll explain why. Because of the ERA, because of the record, because of some of the other stats with Heaney. He's a fly ball pitcher. And people saying, he has a ERA, expected ERA, this, that. No. Stop with the advanced stats. Let's actually do the stuff and count the stuff that matters. He was a fly ball pitcher in a pitcher's ballpark in L.A. He's going to a hitter's ballpark now in New York. So in terms of this, I just really don't like it. And one of my takeaways, we'll get to the final part now, I guess. They're taking a chance on bullpen arms from under 500 teams with some sticky stats. Joely Rodriguez, 1-3 with like a 5.47 ERA or whatever I said. Clay Holmes, obviously he pitched 1 outing for the Yankees or pitched 1 inning. Didn't do that bad, but he had a 4-point-something ERA. And then Andrew Heaney, he has 6-7 record with like a 5 ERA, whatever I said. So, honestly, this is a big experiment that could have high reward. It could also have high risk depending on what the Yankees do after this. But it's going to be interesting. I'm not necessarily a fan of taking on bullpen arms that have been shaky. Even Andrew Heaney, he was a starter in L.A., giving up Sessa because salary dump. Also, he was not part of the long-term plan. In terms of that, that's the one takeaway I have. The Yankees require 2 lefty bats to balance out the lineup. I wasn't a fan of Gleyber Torres hitting first yesterday. Obviously, he got ejected. That was stupid. But 2 lefty bats, it seems like it's much of a more normal lineup now. You got Wade at the bottom of the order. I mean, they did it because LeMahieu had hamstring issues or whatever it was, and he came back into the game because Gleyber got ejected, so obviously, he came back. But with LeMahieu hitting first, I think it's going to be a much more balanced lineup. We'll see what happens. But I'm not getting hyped up and excited just yet. I need to see out of this team. It can't be, one series losing, 1 series winning. We have to stay on a consistent basis. And the Yankees traded assets that were not a part of the long-term plan. Hoyjun Park, Luis Sessa, those guys. Really pissed off kind of way. I'm kind of pissed off that they were dealt. But nothing I can do because I'm a content creator. And the Yankees did not give up Luke Voit. That's one move that puzzles me. You got Rizzo. Maybe they see Voit as some sort of a long-term plan if Rizzo doesn't sign next year. I know Voit faces arbitration. Maybe they do something with him in the offseason, but, last year, he was, I think, leading the league in home runs. This year, injured, IL, sucking on the field. But it's a shame. It's a damn shame. But you got to make moves. You got to do what you got to do. I'll grade this deadline B+, B- around. And I'll say why. Obviously, you got 2 power bats. They got to work out. Anthony Rizzo, I'm confident. Joey Gallo, we'll see what happens. You gave up bullpen arms and Luis Sessa. And with that being said, you got worse bullpen arms that you're taking a flyer on, an experiment on, and as my brother would call it, a reclamation project for these three guys, Heaney, Rodriguez, and Holmes. But these experiments have to work, or else, when it's graded in the long term, it's not going to be a good grade. And, they give up prospects that they didn't think were part of the future, obviously giving up the farm system. If these trades don't work out, the farm system's going to be decimated. Sorry, I'm just putting out the facts. I love this team. I'm hyping this team a little bit because of the win yesterday and the Rizzo home run and everything, but you got to face the facts. If these trades don't work out, the system might be decimated. Just preparing you for that. But the Yankees won't be in a position where they're going to rebuild and stuff like that. So, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification button so you get notified when live stream pops, video drops. Boys Big Apple, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Fridays for right now, and then we move back to Mondays in about 2-3 weeks. Also, with that being said, we are streaming for the Hall of Fame game, the Steelers and the Cowboys. That's going to be a fun one. Sean will join us a little late because he does have some night school. And, more content coming out on this channel. Giants roster bubble series. I'm still continuing with it. I'm going to have to record a couple of videos tonight, especially with guys moving in and out. So it's going to be interesting. And also, maybe I'll do some training camp notes to take away from Giants training camp. So, guys, peace out. See you later and stay cool.